Hello, welcome to document B. Go ahead and open up your packet to document B. Looks like this, looks like that on the screen. This is from the U.S. Census and FBI Uniform Crime Reports and Drug War Effects. This is from 2008. So once again, I want you to just write up next to here, somewhere in the margin, is this a primary source or is this a secondary source? So take a second and write that now, primary or secondary. Okay, you can see title Homicides per 100,000 of the population between 1900 and 1953. All right, just take a look at the document here for a second. Covering about a 50-year period, as it says. Starting off in 1900, pretty low. The population is growing every year, so that might explain for why the murders are going up. But check out here, Prohibition went from 1919 to 1933. What would you say about the murder rate there? So, especially towards the end of Prohibition, okay? And then notice after Prohibition ends, what happens to the murder rate? So let's think about that, and we're going to answer these questions here. Question number one, what was the homicide, that means murder, what was the homicide rate per 100,000 people in 1919? Okay, pause the video, take a second and answer that here. The homicide rate in 1990 per 100,000 was blank. All right, we're back. You should have answered question number one. Question two. Excuse me. What was the homicide rate per 100,000 Americans in 1933? So same question, just 14 years later at the end of Prohibition. So we're looking right here, and you're making an estimate. Okay, you can't be exact here, but what was the murder rate about in 1933? Okay, pause the video and answer that. Question three. Question three, very similar to the first two. What was the homicide rate per 100,000 Americans in 1940? So 1940, right around here. What was the homicide rate there? So just to give us your best estimate there. Okay. Question four. What generalizations could you make from this chart about murder and prohibition in the United States? A generalization is like what kind of what could you say about this? So is there a correlation? That means, is there a relationship? Are these things combined? So take a look. The prohibition starts here. So this is, remember, no alcohol during this time. And is America becoming a safer place or a more dangerous place? Okay, it ends here. So now alcohol is allowed to be sold and bought and drank in pubs and whatnot. What happens? All right, is it becoming safer or more dangerous? So what do you think? That's where you're going to write the answer here. It requires you to think for a minute. And what generalization, what could you say about prohibition, the time when we couldn't drink alcohol, sell alcohol? What happened with crime during that time, and what happened after? So what can you say about that? Whoops. All right, ladies and gentlemen, almost done. Question five. How does this document help explain why Americans repealed prohibition? How can you use this document to explain why we repealed or reversed prohibition? So during this time we could not drink booze, and then we said, no, we can't do that anymore. This isn't working. Why do you think this document says prohibition wasn't working? What about this document points out that prohibition led to something else that was kind of bad, pretty bad? Go ahead and again, let's put your thinking cap on for that one and try to answer in complete sentences. And that's document B. We'll go over this here at the end of class. Thank you.